Thrift Stores, where one person's trash truly is another person's treasure. Nearly everyone watching this video right now has been to a thrift store, whether you're looking for a sweet deal, a cool new sweater, or you're looking to donate the back of your closet. There are many reasons for about everyone to go to a thrift store. And in today's video, we're going to go to a handful of different thrift stores all across the USA and read some funny and crazy one-star reviews. Special shout out to Jeff Freak, Big Boy Benny for this thrift store idea. Thank you so much. And if you want your idea done by me, Jeff, leave in the comments down below. Alright, drop a like if you like it, and let's get into those reviews. Our first thrift store stop is in Jennings Lodge, Oregon on the west coast of the United States at the Red, White, and Blue Thrift Store, America. This fairly normal looking thrift store that is advertising bric-a-brac has a 3.9 rating on 652 reviews. Jennings Lodge is a census-designated and unincorporated community, but it has a population of 7,503 people. Your quick fun fact about this town is that it was named after Berryman Jennings, that's a cool name, who was an Oregon pioneer, and his children still owned the Jennings home until 1927, a whole 22 years after the town was formed. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some funny one-star reviews. We'll get Red, White, and Blue Thrift started with Antoinette. This is the worst thrift store I've ever been to in my life. And I'm 54 and have been to many in multiple states. They are way too pricey, and there is no room to shop as every aisle is crowded. And for as many people who are in the store, they don't even offer a restroom, not to mention they only take cash. Yes, they have an ATM, but really, who doesn't offer debit or credit card? I mean, wow. Well, we get to start off with a list of complaints. It's the worst one they've ever been to. Too pricey, too crowded, you can't go to the bathroom, and they only take cash. That is very wow. Let's move on and read Samantha's review.
Most disrespectful place ever.
A woman started issues with me in front of my
child,
and then told the manager I was threatening her. I'm the one who got kicked out because I'm the younger one. As well as the man recording me and my child as we are leaving, and I'm speaking my piece and the workers did nothing but laugh about it. Definitely filing a report and suing all parties involved for deformation of character. And recording my minor child. I have a feeling that Samantha was kicked out for some other reasons besides just being the younger one. And what is deformation of character? That sounds like a felony. I know she meant defamation, but we're moving on now to Michelle's review. Rude butt workers. I found a great jacket I was excited to buy. When I told the worker it had no tag, she told me it had to be held for 24 hours before it could be shelved again, and that I can't buy it because she doesn't know if I took the tag off or it fell off. I like 30 minutes away. I'm not coming back. Disappointed in their service. I love a one-star review about a store policy. Imagine rating an entire store 1 star because a tag fell off a jacket and a worker told you, sorry, we have to hold it for 24 hours. That's our policy.
1 star.
Alright, let's read Alex's review. This place sucks now, as I never find anything good anymore. And they only accept cash, which is ridiculous. Don't shop here unless you love using cash. Also, any keyboard pianos you find without an adapter, try to find one around the electronics section so you can test it. Goodwill makes this easy. Shop at Goodwill or eBay as this place took a rapid plunge, and unfortunately, I won't be going back for some time. No good toys like they had for a consistent 5 years. A lot of people don't like that cash-only policy. I don't blame them. I don't really carry that much cash on me, if any at all, anymore. Also, shopping on eBay instead of a thrift store, that's like the opposite of thrifting. Most of the time, people go to thrift stores to find stuff to sell on eBay. The next review comes from Jay, and that's the first letter of my name, Jeff. Used to love this store, and prices, people, etc. It's changed over the past couple of years. Employees are rude, will basically push you out of the way.
Don't touch me. Help! Ow!
Okay, whoa.
Recently, I witnessed a young worker being disrespectful to 3 customers in the 30 minutes I was there. It's crowded, and they often act annoyed customers are in their way. Get a bigger store then. Don't take it out on the customers. Prices have gone way up and sometimes don't make any sense. Miss how it used to be. I shop there maybe once a month or less now. Used to go in a couple times a week. I always leave there angry now because of the environment and hardly buy anything anymore. I don't really know why I even bother stopping in. This review might be Jay's breakup with this thrift store. You can see them coming to terms within that last sentence there. They go from coming a couple times a week to, why do I even go there anymore? Oh, hey there, Jeff here. If you've made it this far, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more. Also, special shout out to Super Jeff Freaks, Darth Jen, Jawara Hall, Steven, and Jake. If you want to be a Super Jeff Freak, join the memberships down below. Alright, back to the reviews. Let's move on to Ellie's review. These prices are laughable at best. $300 for a quilt that was donated. It's ridiculous that thrift stores are pulling these games. The blanket most likely won't sell. Call me naive, or maybe I'm not that street smart, but what is the going price of a quilt these days? I have no idea. But let's head to the next thrift store. For our next thrift store, we're going to head up to Coon Rapids, Minnesota, just north of the Twin Cities, and visit a Savers. This Savers is right next to a Planet Fitness, so you can get your sweat on, then go get new clothes, and it has a 3.6 rating on 462 reviews. The city of Coon Rapids has a population of 63,599 people. If you're a fan in swimming in bodies of water that used to be other things, there is a former brick factory known as the Clay Hole in Coon Rapids that now is a pond that you can swim in. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some 1-star reviews. The first review for Savers comes from Jeffrey. That's my name.
You left the house. Good for you.
Richie told me about the killer that's loose in the neighborhood. He's killing anyone named
Jeff.
That's my name. That's my name.
Don't ever buy electronics from this place.
They don't try them before they price them. And the R as is. Got product home and it did not charge, so out of $20.
Won't ever spend another penny at any of these stores.
Oh man, I feel bad for my fellow Jeff over here. Buying electronic, especially from a thrift store, is always a risk, but it should at least work. Let's move on and see what happened to Nathan. I visited this store on February 6th. And I found 3 items. I had scanned them and a lady came up to me and took the jacket. She told me it was priced wrong and they took it back and nearly doubled the price of it. I have been thrifting for a long time and I have never had this happen.
Pretty disappointed.
That really does not sound ethical or right to do, to take something from somebody and then double the price of it, unless they thought you were the one swapping tags. Strange. Let's read what happened to Rob. Illegal price changing practices are being performed here. Whatever price you see on your product or the shelf is the price you pay at the cash register.
By law.
Don't let the cashiers take products and change prices on you. Sounds like Rob got robbed here at the Savers. But yeah, isn't that illegal to be changing prices like that, or is a thrift store exempt from it? I don't know, you'll have to let me know. Let's go to the next review. Let's see how Steve's Savers trip went. Great place if you like being followed around the store by a worker in a green vest. Everywhere I went, there he was.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
Is there a demand for an experience like that? Getting stalked by a person in a green vest while shopping? Because I'll be the guy in the green vest. Let's see if Nick has any career opportunities for me. The cashier up front, she goes through your cart when you are checking out. She is very rude.
Does not say you're welcome.
She treats you like a criminal upon checkout. This is the 3rd time being there. Blonde/gray hair, middle-aged female. I will not shop there if they do not train her on customer service. There are plenty of other places to go. Why do I have this sneaking feeling that this entire review would not have been posted if the cashier would have just said, "You're welcome. Let's move on to Amber's review. Thank you." Probably the worst thrift store in the North Metro. The old lady with glasses with brown hair that works in the self-checkout is hostile towards customers and will accuse you of stealing, tag switching, check your bags, and deny exchanges. Not to mention they price gouge items they got for free. My blood and anxiety shoots up every time she's working there. I spent hundreds at this location and I will no longer go. I would rather drive 20 minutes to Friedley Savers than step foot in the store again. Go across the street to Salvation Army. They actually care about their business and customers, and the employees are always in a good mood. Based on that description from Amber about the lady, I don't know if this is the same lady that Nick was complaining about. What do you guys think? And let's head to the next thrift store. We're going to head over to Norfolk, Virginia, and we're going to stop at Thrift Store USA. This thrift store has giant windows like it used to be a car dealership or something, and it has a 4.2 rating on 987 reviews. Norfolk is one of the largest cities in Virginia and the largest one in this video with a population of 238,000 1,005 people. Your fun fact about this city is that it is the hometown to Dennis Anderson, the creator and former driver of the Grave Digger monster truck. Kid Jeff would be freaking out right now. But with all of that in mind, let's go read some one-star reviews. Our first Thrift Store USA review comes from Quit. Just left out of the store. Everyone in there needs to be fired. The customer service is weird. The lady's attitude at the register as if we made them apply for the jobs ourselves. They be made because they're in retail and have to put the clothes back. Like, get a life. I will not be coming back ever. Weird customer service, attitudes from the people at the register. Are we at Savers again? I can't wait to keep reading more of these reviews. The next review is from F. Some old lady with an ugly, boring face kept complaining today. I walked in at 6 p.m. and she keeps complaining about people moving the clothes. Thrift Store City is way better. This lady kept talking to the other lady. Maybe she thought I didn't understand English, but here I am writing this review in English. If the store closes at 7 p.m., why do they start prepping the store for closing at 5:45? This is not the first time I see this lady doing that. Part of me feels bad when I read these reviews where people are making fun of people's appearances. What's a boring face though? Isn't that subjective? Like, I love watching baseball, but to other people that'd be very boring. Makes you think. The next review comes from the first letter of the alphabet, A. This isn't a thrift store, not in the traditional sense of the word. All semi-decent shoes have been sequestered into glass cases and priced high. Everything else is the most basic, pedestrian stuff imaginable for high prices laid out by color, not size. What a thoughtless approach! The pricing is crazy. A no-name mini dress priced at $9.99? A Libby's foliage glass set for $2.99 each, small glasses? These people are high or criminally greedy or too stupid to research what the market price is for their wares. Not a good place to shop. Me and A have one thing in common. We both don't like how the clothes are organized by color. Doesn't that just kind of defeat the purpose of shopping? Oh, I want a blue shirt today and you have to go look at all the blue shirts? Like, that seems very weird. Let's see how this thrift store treated 10. I am a regular who asked politely many times and was allowed to look through racks that were being put out, and just recently I had a bad interaction and experience with one of the workers who was extremely rude to me as I was looking through one of the new racks. I've never worked at a thrift store or a clothing store before, so I'm not too sure why it would be a bad thing for someone to look through the new racks as they're being put out, especially at a store that does stuff by color coding. Your best opportunity is to find it fresh on the rack. Let's move on and read Mesa's review. Blonde ladies with tattoos on her chest at the counter was extremely rude. Was very nice to the woman in front of me and was extremely rude with me. Seemed as if she had an attitude. Not sure what changed in 2 seconds of her checking me out. However, the other workers were very nice. Would recommend she takes a deep breath and not carry prejudices to customers. Would not come back. I really want to know what happened to the thrift store worker to make them go from really nice to quote-unquote rude to Mesa. It doesn't make any sense to me. Did they not say please and thank you? Was that the rudeness? I don't know. Let's see what happened to Z or Zed. What do you say? I visited the store on 4/27 to donate a very large bag of items. Upon walking in, a worker told me to drop it in their collection bin in a very nasty tone of voice. I then went to the checkout area to notify someone of how rude he was to me. I stood there, the lady then asked me rudely, did I have a question? I was floored. I'm thinking, okay, all of these workers are very rude. I asked for a manager. She said she was one. I explained what happened and she was very nonchalant about this guy's attitude. I asked for my items back and told them I'm sure they would be appreciated somewhere else. I actually like shopping here, but this situation made me very uncomfortable. There was only one person making things uncomfortable in this review, and that was the person leaving it. And it all stemmed from being told in a nasty tone of voice to drop something in their collection bin. That is just bizarre, but what isn't bizarre is going to the next thrift store. Come on, let's go. Our next stop, we're going to go to more than a thrift store, but don't let that name fool you. It is just a thrift store, even though the building looks pretty shady. And it's in Keene, New Hampshire. This business has a lowly 2.5 rating on 117 reviews. The city itself has a modest population of 23,047 people. Like a lot of the towns on the East Coast, this one is very old. So old, people have been living in this area since 1732. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some one-star reviews. With that 2.5 rating, this place has to have some pretty good one-star reviews, and we'll get it kicked off with Vanessa. I was driving through NH to NY, and my toddler's pants got wet, so someone showed me this place so that I could purchase something for her to wear. I went in and found a pair of shorts for $0.75. My toddler was restless and was crying. The woman at the desk literally asked me to leave the store and calm my toddler down, and return after the child stops crying.
Unbelievable.
Of course I just left and didn't return. I would not recommend. So if I'm reading this right, Vanessa never got a new pair of pants for their toddler, so they had to sit in wet pants or no pants at all? How restless and how loud was the crying from the toddler to get kicked out? Let's see what sort of experience Rox had. Owner is very rude. Found an item I wanted to buy, but it didn't have a price. She said she wouldn't sell it to me without a price and grabbed it out of my hands, and would not price it. Last time I spend any money or donate any goods to this organization. For a local small retail business with zero inventory cost, you would think she would have a better temperament. Maybe find another profession than retail or dealing with the public. What a strange interaction to picture in your head. You go up to the owner and be like, hey, I found this item I want to buy, but it doesn't have a price on it.
Snatches it from your hand. I cannot sell you this item. It has no price, and I will not price it.
I feel like something is missing there, or maybe it's a policy. I don't know. All I know is people don't like the owner so far. Let's see if that trend stays true with Keely. I thrift all the time, at places all over the country. Never have I ever been so disappointed and disgusted by someone's behavior as I was by the short-haired woman who works here. She followed me around with absolutely no shame, made me feel incredibly uncomfortable, and then was extremely rude to me at checkout. I watched her profile of their shoppers to be rude to them as well. I hope another thrift store comes to this area and closes this one if she owns it. She doesn't deserve any business by the way she treats customers. I felt icky all day after my experience at this store. Well, if that same person is the same person from the first couple of reviews, this is a weird place to go to. And it's just a thrift store, not like a jewelry store or something. Do we get any more lore in Kristen's review? Let's find out. Just bought a DVD and my children were so excited to watch it. We drive home, get settled in, and it's completely broken in half. The DVD isn't the biggest issue at the end of the day. It's the owner's nasty attitude towards children. My boys are well behaved, and she's made comments and rolled her eyes every time I bring them in there, and it's highly unprofessional. After I cashed out, I thanked her regardless of her attitude, and she said nothing. I will not be giving her any more business. I'd rather pay full prices for things and receive great customer service than deal with her passive-aggressive attitude and terrible customer service. So I have a hunch this place has such low ratings because of this owner's attitude. It sounds like everyone has problems with her, and she has problems with everyone, from adults to kids. Hopefully nobody brings their dog in here. Did anything sweet happen to Caroline here? First time to the store, and after reading the other reviews, I know our experience is common. I've never met a more rude lady than this awful short-haired lady. She literally took a toy out of my kids' hands that we were going to buy and told them that this isn't a toy store. I told her that it's fine, and he was showing me, and she replied, "You can shop somewhere else." So we did. Based on all of these bad reviews so far and how common this experience is, it makes me want to take a trip to this thrift store. But I won't, because it's too far away and kind of too scary for me. Does the scary short-haired lady trend continue with Jake's review? I have to agree with the other reviews. Rudest customer service I have ever encountered. I will never return. I wanted to purchase a lamp, but the blonde beast refused to let me plug it in to see if it worked. The other woman was fighting with the customer over using a debit card. Lost my sale because of her rude and negative attitude. I question the legitimacy of this business. Buyer beware. The blonde beast sounds like a character from like a bad B movie, and this thrift store sounds like a terrible experience all around. So let's get out of here and go to the next one. Our next stop takes us to one of the most famous thrift stores in America, Goodwill, in one of the most infamous cities in America, Gary, Indiana. Now this is a Goodwill outlet store, and it displays a sign saying savings, buy by the pound out front, and it holds a 3.8 rating on 332 reviews. Gary's population today is 69,093 people, down from a peak of 178,000 in 1960. Wow. The most famous resident, or should I say residents, of Gary, Indiana were the Jackson family. That's right, the one with Michael Jackson in it. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some one-star thrift store reviews. We'll start off Goodwill with Krista's review. We're regular thrifters, but one of my kids said the store gave them PTSD from our shopping experience. Well, that's very unsettling. I'm sure the kid was exaggerating, but what could have happened at a Goodwill to freak a kid out that much? Let's see if we learn anything more with Lanita's review. Completely disrespectful Goodwill. I've been to many Goodwill stores, and never have I been to one that has put everything in bins like it's sloop for pigs. This is how you treat the people of Gary? This is disrespectful. Do better. I personally have never experienced Goodwill bins before, but I've seen them on videos on YouTube, and it always is just a pile of just random stuff in a bin, so I don't know what this person's expecting them to like put dividers in and organize it by color. Well, that last review wasn't too traumatic. Do things get any spicier with Tim's review? I've been to better locations. Figure Gary location is trash. Walk in, see signs saying no sitting on furniture. Look over at that section, all I see if everyone's sitting like it's their house. Why be there if you're not shopping? Why not enforce the rule of no sitting on furniture? I turned around and left, won't waste my time. If you're not gonna enforce it, then stop selling furniture. Nothing too traumatic in Tim's post, but a pretty funny thing to picture in your head. You walk into a Goodwill, you see a sign saying don't sit on the furniture, so you immediately scan the store to try to find the furniture section. You see it and you see people sitting on the furniture, you just throw your hands up in disgust and be like, I can't believe this, and walk out the store. Seems a bit dramatic to me, but I love it. The next Gary Goodwill review comes from Jill. I went there today for the first time. I like what I bought, but yikes. There are some unhappy people working there. I only interacted with one staff member, but she was rude. It's probably because I make these videos, but I really don't like when people say someone is rude, but they don't say why they're rude. It could be as simple as not saying please or thank you, or they practically ran over them. What was it? I want to know. Let's move on and see what happened to Caesar. There is an employee by the name of Felicia who yells at customers, primarily the elderly, and kicks them out of the store very rudely. Well, that's not good at all to be kicking out customers for no reason. How is she kicking them out rudely? Is she shooing them away like they're stray cats or something? Shoot, get out of here, old people, get out of here, shoot. Let's see how Kelly's trip to this Goodwill went. I wasn't very impressed. First time going to this location. No organization to the bins at all. Store wasn't very clean. Even the bins didn't appear to be clean considering the amount of dirt, lint, dust, etc. in the bottom of the bins. Let's not forget the 2 different bugs I saw in 2 different bins. I get that it's a donation center, but you could still put some effort into daily cleanliness and probably even checking the quality of donation items better. Another review from this Goodwill talking about the bins, and 2 different bugs in 2 different bins? You don't say. Multiple bugs? No. Let's head to the next thrift store and see if they have any bug infestations. For our next stop, we're going to head towards the middle of America to Greeley, Colorado to visit an ARC thrift store, or is it ARC? This thrift store is boasting a Saturday sale and it has a 3.8 rating on 545 reviews. Greeley, Colorado has a population of 108,795 people. Your fun fact about Greeley is that the current owners of the Colorado Rockies professional baseball team, brothers Charles Monfort and Richard Monfort, grew up in Greeley, Colorado, and I love to talk about baseball, so with all of that in mind, let's go read some one-star thrift store reviews. The first review for this Colorado thrift store comes from Monarch. Didn't know there was an ARC in Greeley, thought I'd give it a chance even after the reviews weren't great. Should have just gone off the reviews, just drive to Loveland one way better. As stated by others, prices were ridiculous. I went to Ross afterwards and it was noticeably cheaper to buy new. They had used Walmart shirts for $7, like what? If you can go to like a Ross or a TJ Maxx and find shirts for cheaper than a thrift store, the thrift store's got a problem. Let's move on and read what happened to Bob. Tried to donate 2 very nice sofas that had been in storage. After we drove to the store from Kersey, they turned their nose up at them because one had this little cluster of cobwebs. Took the sofas along with several other pieces of furniture to Habitat. They took it all very happily. Will not waste my time with ARC ever again. Totally feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but cobwebs wouldn't ruin a couch. Couldn't you just take like some paper towel and just clean it up quick and then it's good to go? I'll try to figure that one out later, but for now, let's read That Booty's review. Bigger people pay more. When asking the cashier why their larger clothes were priced higher than their smaller clothes when they get them all for free, she told me they go off eBay and that she prefers for fatter people to pay more than skinny people. Absolute sizist. And I will not be giving them my money again. I recommend you don't either. This review raises some doubts in me. I have a feeling that the part about the cashier telling that booty about the eBay price thing is correct, but saying that they prefer fat people to pay more than skinny people, that seems just like a little too harsh to actually be said. And this is that booty's only review. What do you think? The next review comes from Brenda. We had a really nice, clean, small, solid oak desk and matching filing cabinet to donate. We pulled up, third car from the front, and the attendant tells us they're going to close early so he won't take them. There were others unloading their cars, and I asked if they really can't go ahead and thanked them, and he said, well, I can't take furniture today. He just didn't want to deal with it. Based on Brenda's account of this whole situation, it really does sound like that worker didn't want to deal with them. But why did Brenda thank them? I know she meant to say take them. The next thrift store review comes from Marie. Manager was rude and gave me an attitude because she announced the fitting rooms were now closed, as I was still in the fitting room and I opened the door to ask my partner if I should buy the one thing I had left, and she came over to me and lectured me on how the fitting room should have been locked at 4:30. It was like 4:35. And I said, I'm sorry, I understand, I just have this one thing I wanted to get an opinion on. And she rolled her eyes and said okay and stormed off all angry. Super unprofessional. She then shut the lights off to the store 20 minutes before closing to get everyone to leave. What was more unprofessional? This manager at this thrift store, or Marie's complete lack of punctuation in almost this entire review? I don't have lungs big enough to read that entire run-on sentence. Let's read what went wrong for Eric. Just wondering if the IRS has looked into this business. You can go to Ashley Furniture and see a dresser there for $300, and the Ark seems to sell the same used dresser for $400. This seems shady and looks like money laundering. You know something fishy is going on here. Is it a money laundering scheme, or is someone just bad at pricing? It's probably just someone bad at pricing, but I'm glad that Eric thinks it's a money laundering scheme. And with that, you made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, make sure you leave a like and you subscribe for more if you haven't. Also, check out this video on screen now because YouTube thinks you'll like it. Until next time, I've been Jeff, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.